Welcome to the Bucs Gambling Show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. 3-1 on money picks last week, and we've been flying the whole year. I know you guys want me to be more humble, but nothing gets me more excited about winning you guys money. Let's get to week 10. Let's hit these week 10 picks. First game, we're going to Germany. We got the New York Giants at the Carolina Panthers. Giants -6. I got Panthers to cover, Giants to win. And I know a lot of you guys love the Giants and you try talking me out of fading them every week, but I'm not going for it. This is a bad football team. And we know the Panthers are probably the worst team talent-wise outside of the Patriots in this league. But let's not even get into X's and O's here. Did you guys see the Giants sideline during the Commanders game? They were beat before the game even started. And when you talk about Daniel Jones, you talk about mistakes. Giants were running the ball great against the Steelers. They ran it great against the Commanders in the first half. But what result came? And I felt like the Panthers showed a lot of heart. And we saw Bryce Young actually push the ball down the field against the Saints. Now, beating the Saints isn't anything to hang your hat on. But I'm talking about vibes in this game because both teams stink. But I'm telling you, man, this Giants team is looking for a way out. I'm not sure. I think we see Tommy DeVito this game if things get ugly for the Giants. Panthers are getting healthier. This week they'll have Thielen. This week they'll have Leggett. And I think that's enough to trash a Giants defense. And this Giants defense can't stop the run. Neither team can stop the run. Give me the Panthers to cover, Giants to win. If Bryce Young was more reliable, I think Panthers money line would be on the table here. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. Bills -4. Bills winning the cover. This is one I'm tempted to bet. And that Bills defense was poorly coached against Miami. That should have been a cover. That was the only hiccup of last week. But I'm looking at a Colts team. I just don't think this offense is good enough. And I think the Bills defense has a bounce back performance. Now, we know the weakness of the Bills is stopping the run. And that's why this isn't a money pick. But this Bills offense is an absolute machine. And I know the Colts had a good first half on defense, but the Vikings absolutely extrapolated them. And I think the Bills do the same. If the Bills get the running game going, this offense is just too potent, and you're going to get Amari Cooper back this week. This Colts secondary, I know they're performing better than I said. I know they're performing better than the talent, but at a certain point, this will break. You try to taper a leak with bubble gum, and eventually the flood will come, and I think it comes this game. Bills win by 10 points. Bills win in cover. This is one I'm going to need to think throughout the week before we bet it. Next game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Washington No-Names. Commanders -2.5. Money. I love Jaden Daniels. And you guys noticed this whole year, pretty much every week, I've been like borderline money pick with the Commanders. And then you see me getting louder and more animated every week. They were the money pick. They were the big bet we hit on the site in the description. I can't say the name anymore. But I'm going to keep riding this. And I believe in Jaden Daniels. I believe in Cliff Kingsbury. I think they're one of the best coach teams in this league. Now, here's the matchup you worry about in this game. You worry about the Steelers' run game against this Commanders' front seven. This Commanders' front seven is quick, versatile, and they'll attack you in a wide variety of ways. But the best way to go at them is to pound them. But I think the way to really attack this Commanders defense is you have to throw it, and you have to throw it a lot. I'm not sure I trust Russell Wilson to do that. You guys can go trust him. I'm not going to trust him. I trust Jaden Daniels. And I got to tell you guys, against the Giants, I felt like the Commanders were in like a jog. Maybe they reached a trot. We did not even see a sprint from this Commanders offense. And I tried telling you guys something last week, and no one wanted to listen to me. There's two offenses in this league who are a step above the rest. Actually, three. You got the Ravens in terms of explosivity. You got the Commanders in terms of consistency, and obviously they're explosive. And you got the Lions. The rest of the offenses in this league are above average at best. So when I look at this game, if you're laying points, give me the Commanders. And I feel like this Steelers defense has been quite disappointing. And I get what you guys are going to say in the comments. Tomlin off a bye week. Lawson, the Steelers won you so much money in the first 5 weeks. Why are you going against them? I'm not married to a team. I'm married to the results. And the Commanders are getting results. And I don't see this slowing down. Give me the Commanders to win in a cover. Make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Thursday night delight. Bengals +6. Bengals cover, Ravens win. If this game was Sunday at 1 o'clock, I would say Ravens win in the cover. But we know what we're going to get on Thursday night. We're going to get holding penalties. We're going to get false starts. We're going to get illegal formations. And I think that will stymie the Ravens offense, put them at 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and take King Henry out of the game. But this Bengals defense is really bad. That's why you can't make it a money pick. And I know everyone thought they were getting better because they looked decent against the Giants. They looked decent against teams like the Raiders. But anytime they face a good offense like the Eagles, like the Ravens, I feel like they can be a whipping boy. But like I said, this Thursday night changes the equation, and this is an Alamo situation for the Bengals. The matchup that makes me want to bet the Bengals to cover is, firstly, this Ravens secondary is still an issue, and I'm not sure this Ravens front four can get a pass rush without blitzing on Burrow. And if you give Burrow time, you give him space, he's going to pick you apart. Now, we don't know what receivers are going to play. Like I told you early in the year, I don't think T. Higgins is truly hurt. I think he's milking injuries, and that's just part of the Bengals and why I advise you guys not to bet them. Like, you guys were going big on them against the Eagles. I just don't think this is a team you can put your hard-earned money with. Maybe a small bet, maybe a parlay, but that's what we're talking about with the Bengals. They're a Mickey Mouse team. I do think they cover. Ravens win this game. It should be a good game on Thursday night, but we know how these games go. Next game, we got my Minnesota Vikings at the Jacksonville Jags. Vikings -4. Vikings winning the cover. Now I get it. We had the Jacksonville Jags to cover last week, and they had a chance to win the game against the Eagles. Jags defense is playing better, but also I think this game is about the Vikings defense completely attacking and throttling the Jags. Now, the big equation in this game, and one reason why I might bet it later in the week, is if the Jags can run the ball, I feel like they can cover and might even be able to steal this game. But I'm not sure they're going to do it. And I'm not sure they're going to protect Lawrence if they don't run the ball. And we know what happens if they're in 3rd and 7s. Flores starts lobbing in zone blitz after zone blitz. And it's just this Vikings defense, you can't attack them when you're in those type of situations. On the other side of the ball, yes, this Jags defense is trending in the right direction. They had no luck against the Eagles, but they fought, and I want to tip my fedora just to their effort and fight that they showed on Sunday in Philadelphia. But let's get back down to reality. I just don't think this Jags defense can put together a consistent 4 quarters. We know Sunshine Sam Darnold is starting to show his ass. But also, this Vikings run game is something that I think will hurt the Jags. And then play action, finally Addison is involved to help Justin Jefferson. I just think the Vikings have way more firepower on defense and also on offense. Give me the Vikings to win and to cover. This is a tough place to play. Just keep that in mind before you place the damn bets. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to see every bet I made, we made a ton of money last week. Link is in the description. I can't say the name on YouTube because they're throttling your boy. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons, Kirk, at the New Orleans Saints. Falcons minus 3.5. Money borderline. And you guys know I'm the biggest Falcons believer there is. But even I had some doubts after that Seahawks performance. I looked like an idiot picking them to beat the Seahawks and made it a money pick. It was one of the worst picks of the year, but I wasn't wrong. The game flow was in my favor. I think the Falcons win in the cover here. I coined the term new coach bounce, and people throw the term that I coined at me. I should get a fucking royalty every time someone uses that when we talk about the NFL. But I don't know if this new coach bounce is going to have any sort of effect on the Saints. This is a team that's banged up. This is a team that has had their soul sucked out of them. And you wonder, what more do they have left? What fight do they have left? And you got a Falcons defense. We know this defense is like jelly. They're not strong. They can't stop the run. They're not covering particularly well, even though they're stacked in the secondary with people like Bates and A.J. Terrell. But I don't think the Saints can exploit that. You got Olave out. You got Shaheed out. And you still have a ton of injuries on the Saints' offensive line and on the Saints' front seven. And here's the thing, man. We can talk about Kirk. He was absolutely phenomenal against the Cowboys. But the reason why I had a future bet on the Falcons and why I'm a little bit biased on them is I think they're going to run the ball. And I think we're getting to the time of the year where it's about running the ball. It's about physical football. The Falcons defense isn't all that physical, but neither is the Saints. And they just took an L at the Panthers. How can you recover from that? Is there going to be a response? I don't think so. I think the Falcons run the ball for 180, 190 yards, and they take what little soul the Saints have left. And you wonder, man, I do think people are being really harsh on Carr about that hospital ball he threw. Like, I see worse hospital balls every single week. I saw Peyton Manning threw the worst hospital ball to Austin Collie that almost got Austin Collie killed. So, like, stop picking on Carr. He's an easy target. I'm sick of it. It's the same thing with Nick Sirianni. Stop picking on easy targets. Go after targets who are bigger. I just hate beating a man when he's down. But I don't know what Carr's going to do this game, and I don't know if he's going to get the protection. Give me the Falcons to win in the cover. Borderline money pick. I mean, I got it at -1, but we saw how quickly that changed, and now we're at 3.5. And the fundamentals in this game aren't good because we got to respect the Superdome. It's a legit home field in a league with maybe 6 or 7 legit home fields. Next game, we're going to the AFC West. We got the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Broncos plus 8.5. Broncos to cover, Chiefs to win. And I just defaulted on Tampa Bay to cover. Do not give me credit for that. So people are trying to give me credit do not give me credit for that. Like, I don't want clout for that. But I think the Broncos covered this game. I was very, very forceful with saying the Ravens would cover against the Broncos. But I don't feel like the Chiefs' offense is explosive enough to really put this Broncos defense in tough positions. I also think this Broncos defense will have an answer. I do think they will have a response. And I do think Sean Payton will have these guys ready to play. Now, the big question why you can't bet this game is because this Broncos offense is severely limited. We can talk about Bo Nix until the cows come home. We can talk about how good this Chiefs defense has been this year. But my issue is there's no one on the outside to help Cortland Sutton out. That's why you can't bet that. I feel like the Chiefs have a weakness at second and slot corner, but who's going to be able to exploit that? The reason why I'm not betting the Broncos this game, even though I think they'll cover, is because I'm not sure they're going to be able to block Chris Jones in the interior. If you think Broncos can run the ball decently this game, I think you should bet them. It's just a tall ask against Chris Jones. He's one of the most dominant fucking players in this league. And someone did a thread on Twitter just showing all the calls that benefited the Chiefs. It would be smart not to bet their games. Broncos cover, Chiefs win. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Bucs. 49ers minus 5.5. 49ers winning the cover. I think this is a Shanahan blueprint. I'm lower on the 49ers this year. Took a lot of criticism for it. But Christian McCaffrey coming back, that's going to be a boost. And this is a Bucs defense that just hasn't been good enough this year. Yes, they look good against the Chiefs, but look at the other games. Look at the Thursday night against the Falcons. Look at how they performed against the Broncos' anemic offense. I think this Bucs defense is the issue here. Baker's battling. That offensive line is battling. We see this running back rotation. They're battling. But is that defense going to step up and do something? I don't think so. I think this is a Shanahan surprise, and this is the time of year where Todd Bowles gets taken to the woodshed like a redhead stepchild, and he gets paddled. And I think we see the 49ers win big here. Now, it is working down to open at 6.5. We're at 5.5 right now. Listen, I don't like that line movement. I respect Baker. I feel like Cohen is one of the best offensive coordinators in this league at the moment. But at a certain point, this is about Shanahan. This is about Brock Purdy. This is 49ers coming off a bye week. Give me the 49ers to win in the cover against a wounded Bucs team. I really wanted to see them pull that game out. They fought valiantly. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, Sirianni, at the Dallas Cowboys. Eagles -7. Money, money, money. Money. Eagles winning the cover. I'm high on the Eagles this year. And a lot of people are counter-signaling Nick Sirianni. He was the guy who was, he was the easy target this year. And do I like some of his fourth down decisions? No. But one reason why Dan Campbell has made us so much money is because he's aggressive. That we bet spreads. And when you're laying points, you need the coach to be aggressive. Better than kicking field goals. And it's easier to kick the field goal. But I feel like this Eagles offense is catching vibes. And I love the run game. Saquon Barkley speaks for himself. But this is a Dallas defense that just isn't competitive. And there was plays in that Atlanta game where I saw a lack of effort on critical third downs. There wasn't a lot of third downs in that game because the Cowboys didn't stop Kirk at all. But in what few third downs they had, 2 of them, they had 10 men on the field, okay? This Cowboys team is poorly coached. I'm not seeing a response. They're injured. They're banged up. And I feel like the Eagles can attack them in a wide variety of ways. And we're seeing the Eagles get back to 2 years ago. Run first, play action, let Hurts push it down the field and go for the jugular. We're also seeing a Philadelphia Eagles defensive line that's getting better by the second. You got Jordan Davis. You got Josh Sweat. I don't know if there's a defensive end who's peaking more than Josh Sweat. And he takes a lot of hate, but I feel like he's playing really good. And that's the key. That's the main ingredient for this Eagles defense peaking. And I feel like the Eagles want to take Dallas's soul, what little they have left. And I got to admit, with Dak out, can we be honest? Can we get put on in the psychologist's couch for a second and lay down? Don't you guys kind of think Dallas is looking for a way out? When the Eagles start pounding them, when Saquon starts going forward and putting his head down, don't you guys think Dallas is looking for a way out? Eagles winning the cover, make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers -7.5, -7. I got the Chargers to win in the cover. This game reminds me of the Saints, but I got a lot of respect for this Titans defense, especially the front seven. But Herbert's airing it out, and I think that's too much. And I also think this Chargers defense is one of the most physical entities in this league. It surprised me. It shocked me. But Harbaugh has completely redid this team. And when you're looking at Callahan, the Titans coach, man, he's one of the worst coaches in this league. Him and McDonald for the Seahawks are absolute rats. So I don't think this is the science you guys want, but I like fading those guys. We won big with the Rams, just fading the Seahawks coach. Let's fade the Titans coach. Not a lot of science here. You don't like the Chargers laying a lot of points, but at a certain point, you can't be afraid when the Titans are complete rock. Next game, we got the New England Patriots. Drake May at the Chicago Bears. The Bears -6. Money. Bears winning the cover. I hate doing this. Yeah, man, I was big on Arizona last week. I get why people thought Chicago would win. I get why people think Chicago should be a good team. If Chicago can run the ball, Caleb looks better. If they don't run the ball, he looks absolutely horrific. But you want to know what else is horrific? This Patriots defense, they're just not good enough, and there's not a lot of pass rush, and that's what Caleb Williams is struggling with. The Bears are not pass blocking good, but if they get the run game going, I think they can win by 20. And you got to look at the Bears. You got to look at their home and away splits. This is just not a good road team. But at Soldier Field, I feel like the fans will bring some good energy, and I think that'll help them. I also just think this Patriots defense is really overrated. Like, I had them going 32 out of 32 in terms of talent. And Drake May is an entity that is an absolute joker card. The kid is phenomenal. But this Bears secondary is really good. And outside of DeMario Davis, I mean, Hunter Henry's all right. But can you see any of these Patriots receivers creating separation to help them out? I know the Bears front seven is weak against the run, and James Conner absolutely decimated them and just completely left his mark all over them. But I do think this Bears front seven survives, and I do think they start the game faster. A big issue with the Bears in the Eberflus era is just them laying an egg. But I also think Jared Mayo is a terrible coach, so they're not going to get out-coached. Like, Eberflus was completely out-coached by John Gannon. I don't think that's going to happen this week because the guy on the other side, the fact that the Patriots didn't win that game against the Titans was absolutely disgusting. I know no one watched it. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals. Jets +1. Jets winning the cover. Man, don't take my advice on the Jets. I think they're good. Vegas agrees with me. Man, the sunk cost fallacy, you look it up. People get mad at me and say, Lawson, I hate you because you picked the Jets. But like I said, sunk cost fallacy, look it up on Wikipedia. I was big on Zona last week, but Zona's a team that is up and down. They're inconsistent. And you've got a Jets team that is in an Alamo situation. And this Jets team is really old. And I think this 10 days of rest, we've seen it this year, helps teams coming off these Thursday nights. And the Jets had a little bit of a mini bye. And I think it'll help. The Jets are going to be sloppy. They're going to make mistakes. But they have so much talent. I think they can come back. The problem with the Jets, we don't know what's going on in that locker room. Now, the big matchup of this game and why you can't bet the Jets, obviously, is I feel like the Jets front seven struggle stopping the run. I feel like they do. And James Conner, when he gets going, this Zona team is a completely different entity, and they're one of the better teams in the NFC if they have their run game going. I do think the Jets managed to scrap this game. Rodgers plays better than Murray. He's not as old as you guys think. Jets winning the cover. Upset, I think. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell at the Houston Texans. Lions -3.5. Lions win, Texans cover. I want to do a separate video on this game because I need to really break it down. Listen, I'm the biggest Lions guy. Dan Campbell built this channel. He's the reason why I have a car to drive around with. I'm a humble man living a humble life, but Dan Campbell brought a little bit of luxury to my life. But I got the Texans to cover here, and man, like I said, I'm going to do a separate video on this game. Like, I feel like I need to break it down, but I do feel like this Darius Smith thing was big for the Lions. I feel like that was the biggest trade of the day, but I do think the Texans can respond, and I do think Nico Collins coming back, if he comes back, will certainly help C.J. Stroud. You do worry about the interior of this Texans offensive line, and that's why the Lions will win the game. But I do think the Texans keep it close. Another matchup I like. I could be wrong stat-wise, but from my film watching, I think this Texans front seven is good at stopping the run. That is the main ingredient to stopping Detroit. Now, I do think Detroit has some tricks and so what's the word? Rabbits out of the hat. Like, I don't think we've seen the best out of Laporta. I don't think we've seen the best out of St. Brown this year. But I think if the Texans stop the Detroit's run game, we can see maybe a little bit of bad Goff put in bad situations. Texans cover, Lions win with a late field goal. Similar to the Vikings game. I think it's going to have a similar game flow to the Vikings game. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams. Fins plus 2.5. Money, borderline. It pains me to do this. When Fins win in the cover, it pains me to do this. That Rams defensive line saved our bat against the Seahawks, by the way, boys. Jared Verse was absolutely phenomenal. And we know this Miami Dolphins offensive line is absolutely treacherous and terrible. But they held up good against Rousseau and a pretty good Bills defensive line. And I feel like Mike McDaniel is finding something with this offense. And a lot of people scoffed and laughed at me when I said Tua was brilliant against the Cardinals. He was brilliant against the Bills. And the Dolphins are getting the run game going. And I still feel like the Rams are susceptible against the run. And we know the Seahawks can't run the ball worth squat. So you can't really take much from that matchup last week. Also, I'm seeing the Rams offense hitting a bit of a plateau. Like, I know Nakua was ejected from the game. Like, what was it, like mid-second quarter to try to screw our bat? But if you look at those first 4 or 5 drives from the Rams, they were absolutely terrible. And this Rams defense is peaking. But I think when you look at this game, this Fins offense is trending at a higher direction. And I want to tail that. I want to get behind that. Fins winning the cover, borderline money pick. Man, I can't believe I'm doing this. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. Link in the description for all my bets. I can't say the name on YouTube. And are you tired of like the 10-game parlays? Are you tired of watching Action Sports Network? I know they show up. I know the algorithm loves them. But think why the algorithm loves them. They've been absolutely terrible this year. We've been winning every single week. We had one bad week on Money Picks on YouTube. We are coming. We are the zeitgeist. We are the best bettors on YouTube. And I'm sick of being humble about it. Everyone will have bad weeks, but we've been consistently good. And shout out to all of you guys. You guys know football. And I just want to say, like, I'm sick of Action Sports Network. People want me to do like a video previewing last week. Why? So I can cope about a pick I didn't hit, or so I can gloat about all the picks we hit and all the money we got? Like, I'm not going to do that. It's on to the next week. It's on to the money. That's what we do here. We worry about the money. We bet money. We don't worry about units. Let's get this money. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for helping me with the algorithm. You know your boy's getting screwed, and you know why I'm getting screwed, because we make real money, and all the gambling companies are investing in these channels, private equities investing in these channels, and they're trying to keep your boy down. The picks are better than last year, yet the views are down. Think about that. The picks are better than last year, yet the views are down. But you guys keep supporting me. We're making more money than last year, so I don't give a fuck. Let's get this money.